Quick question. How much do you spend on subscriptions every month? Go ahead, take a guess. Got a number in your head? Now here's the thing. When researchers actually asked people this question, the average guess was around $84 a month. But when they looked at the actual bank statements, the real number was over $219. That's not a small gap. That's almost 3 times what people thought they were spending. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, that's other people. I keep track of my stuff. I get it. I thought the same thing. Then I actually went through my statements one afternoon, and I found a meditation app I'd used exactly twice, a cloud storage upgrade I forgot I'd bought, and a streaming service I subscribed to specifically for one show that got canceled 18 months ago. I was basically setting fire to almost $60 a month and had no idea. So let's talk about how this happens, why our brains are absolutely terrible at tracking small recurring charges, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it starting today. Here's the thing about subscriptions. They're designed to be forgettable. And I don't mean that in a conspiracy theory way. It's just good business. If you had to make a conscious decision every single month, do I want to pay $11.99 for this streaming service? You might actually think about it. You might realize you haven't watched anything on it in 6 weeks. You might cancel. But when the money just quietly disappears from your account on the 14th of every month, your brain files it under already handled and moves on. This is what I call the coffee cup problem. If someone asked you for $12 cash every single month, you'd probably think about whether it was worth it. But $12 automatically deducted? It feels like nothing. It feels like it's already gone. It's furniture in your financial life. You stop seeing it entirely. And companies know this. They're counting on it. Now let's do some real math, because this is where it gets kind of uncomfortable. Let's say you have what I'd call a pretty normal subscription situation. Nothing crazy, just the stuff most people have. You've got a music streaming service, about $11 a month. A video streaming platform, let's say $16. Maybe a second streaming service because the first one doesn't have that show you wanted. Another $14. Cloud storage for your photos, $3. A fitness app you downloaded in January with good intentions, $15. A news site subscription, $10. Some premium version of an app you use for work, $8. And maybe one of those meal planning or recipe apps, $6. Add that up. That's $83 a month. Okay, not great, but not the end of the world, right? But here's the thing. Most people don't have 8 subscriptions. A recent study found that the average American household has 12 active subscriptions. Some have over 20. And once you start adding in things like cloud gaming services, premium podcast apps, budgeting tools, the irony of paying $15 a month for an app that's supposed to help you save money is not lost on me. It climbs fast. At 12 subscriptions averaging around $11 each, you're looking at $132 a month. That's $1,584 a year. And I know what you might be thinking. But I use those services. They're worth it. And maybe they are. But here's the question. Are you using all of them? Or are you paying for the option to use them? Which is a very different thing. Let me tell you about a concept I call subscription ghosts. These are the subscriptions that haunt your bank account long after you've stopped thinking about them. They fall into a few categories. First, there's the free trial you forgot about. You signed up for a 7-day trial of something, thought I'll definitely cancel before they charge me. And then life happened. Now you've been paying $9.99 a month for 14 months for a service you used for exactly 3 days. I once found out I'd been paying for a VPN service for over a year after the free trial ended. I'd used it once. To watch a cooking show that was only available in Canada. 1 episode, $120 later. Second category, the I might need it someday subscription. This is the cloud storage you're paying for, just in case. The professional software you subscribed to for one project 9 months ago, the gym app you keep because I'm definitely going to start working out again next month. Number third, the price increase ghost. This one's sneaky. You signed up for something at $6.99 a month 3 years ago. Seemed reasonable. But they've quietly raised the price twice since then, and now you're paying $11.99. They sent you an email about it, buried in a newsletter you didn't open, and just kept charging you the new amount. Now here's where our brains really work against us. Psychologists call it mental accounting. When you spend $20 on dinner, that $20 feels real. You handed over cash, or you watched the number change on your phone, or you at least made an active decision to spend it. But when Netflix charges you $16 on the 9th of every month, that doesn't feel like spending. It feels like something that just happens, like a utility bill, like the cost of existing. And this is exactly why subscriptions are such a trap. Not because any individual one is necessarily bad, but because they add up in a way your brain doesn't naturally track. If I told you to go to an ATM, withdraw $150 cash, and then light it on fire, you'd think I was insane. But that's effectively what happens every single month when you're paying for things you don't use. The only difference is you don't have to watch the money burn. So what do you actually do about this? Step 1 is embarrassingly simple, but almost nobody does it. Go through your bank and credit card statements for the last 3 months and write down every single recurring charge, all of them. Even the tiny ones, especially the tiny ones. I'm talking about the $2.99 charges that your brain dismisses as basically free. Those add up to almost $36 a year each. Stack 5 of them together and you're looking at $180. That's a nice dinner out, just evaporating into nothing. When you have your list, put each subscription into one of 3 buckets. Bucket 1. I use this regularly and it's worth the money. Keep these. Bucket 2. I barely use this, but I keep paying for it. Cancel these immediately. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, right now. Because every day you wait is another day of paying for something you're not using. Bucket 3. I'm not sure. These are tricky. Here's my rule. If you can't remember the last time you used it without checking, cancel it. You can always resubscribe if you actually miss it. Spoiler alert, you probably won't. Now, let me give you some extra strategies that have actually helped me stay on top of this. First, use one credit card for all subscriptions. Just one. This makes your monthly audit way easier because all your recurring charges are in one place instead of scattered across 3 cards and a PayPal account and whatever else you've got going on. Second, set a calendar reminder for the first of every month. Just 5 minutes to glance at your subscription card statement. That's it. This tiny habit catches the free trials before they convert, notices the price increases before they stack up, and keeps those subscription ghosts from moving in. Third, and this one's a little more aggressive, whenever you sign up for a free trial, set your cancellation reminder for 1 day before it ends, not the day of. Because the day of is when you'll tell yourself, I'll do it later today, and then forget again. 1 day before gives you a buffer. Fourth, whenever possible, pay annually instead of monthly. I know that sounds backward since we're talking about spending less, but hear me out. Annual payments force you to make a real decision once a year. $12 a month feels like nothing. $144 all at once makes you actually think about whether you want it. Plus, most services give you a discount for annual billing, usually around 15 to 20% off. Here's the bottom line. Nobody's going to come to your house and tell you you're wasting $400 a year on stuff you forgot you signed up for. The banks won't warn you. The companies definitely won't warn you. This is entirely on you to figure out. But the good news is it's fixable. And unlike a lot of money advice that requires you to make more money or have more willpower or fundamentally change who you are as a person, this one is just canceling some stuff. That's it. 30 minutes with your bank statements, a few taps on your phone, and suddenly you might have an extra $100 a month that you didn't even know was missing. That's not life-changing money, but it's not nothing either. That's a car payment. That's a small vacation every year. That's your future self thanking you for paying attention. If this helped you see your subscriptions a little differently, consider subscribing to Like Your 5. I explain money stuff without making you feel like you should already know it. Because honestly, why would you? Nobody teaches this. I'll see you in the next one.